Guten Morgen miteinander. Ich begrüße euch herzlich. Hallo, very good, I like that. I just spoke to you and said good morning to you, good morgen to you in German. And today our presentation is going to be about Germany, a country I've lived in for about 10 years. And so let's get started with our video. And then after the video, we'll have a quick question and answer period. Does everybody understand my English?
好，那大家老师刚刚说的是德文哦，一开始老师说的是德文哦，哈。好，我们先看一段影片，老师会问你们问题。
This right here is it's a drone video over Munich. In Chinese, you say Munihe. In German, we say München. And this is a city I lived in for a couple of years. I worked there in the lighting industry as a LED project manager. And I think it's the third or second largest city in Germany after Berlin. And it's very close to the German Alps. It's a very nice city, very big. It was the holder of the Olympics in 1972, way before your time. And yeah, a lot of history in Germany and many, many castles. It's also the home of BMW. You see the 4 towers. That's the BMW headquarters. There's a huge park area there called the English Garden, the English Garden. And it's a great place to go in the summertime. That's the Allianz Insurance Arena where the Bayern München, the Bavarian Munich team plays soccer. So, yeah. Big city, not real tall, not a lot of tall buildings spread out all over the place. Okay, so my first question is to you. What country are we talking about today?
I don't know. 大声一点。
Germany, all right, very good, all right. I guess we can give them also something because they were helping it with the answer. Okay.
来，鼓掌。我们今天介绍德国哈，德国是在欧洲，这是他们的国旗。
All right, can we just go back to the map for a second? Thank you. You can see Germany there with the 3 colors. Germany is the largest in terms of population in Europe, and it's in what we call Central Europe. North of Germany would be Scandinavia with Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and Norway. So we can see it's pretty well central in Germany, bordered by about 8 or 9 different countries. Okay.
德国是欧洲人口最多的国家，那么它是位于中欧。
Of course, one of my favorite things to do in Germany is to enjoy the wonderful food. The culture we see here, we have the 3 colors, black, red, and gold. And the colors of Germany represent unity and freedom. Unity means being together, and freedom means being free. Okay?
好，那德国国旗的3种颜色代表着统一，还有自由。
So, what are the colors of the German flag? Does anybody have an answer? Yes, in the back there. Wait, I'll run around with you.
德国国旗有什么颜色？请回答。
Okay, what are the colors of the German flag?
Black, red, and gold.
Woohoo! Yes, give that man a
Very
shot.
good.
Very good.
Nice job.
All right, good job. Very German culture a little bit. Of course, the first language in Germany is German. And the capital city is Berlin. You can see the tall tower there. That is what we call ein Fernsehturm, which is a television tower. And the city of Berlin has about 3.5 million people. And Berlin only became a capital again after 1990, when East Germany and West Germany were unified, when they came back together. You can see the population of Germany, over 81 million people, and they have a lot of different religions. Islam didn't used to be such a religion, but they let a lot of Islamic people in who are trying to escape from countries that were suffering from war in the Middle East.
好，那德国当然讲的是 German 德文。那现在看到这张图片是柏林是德国的首都，那它的人口就会是多。那这张图片是那里的电视塔的图片哦。
So, quick question: what language do most of the people in Germany speak? Anybody? All right.
德国人讲什么语？
Another one in the back. Wait, I run around again.
来，举手的人可以往老师那边跑过去。
Is that right? German? German is the type of person, and German is the language, right? Very good. Germany is the country. Good job. Okay. Okay.
OK， 他答对了，请大家掌声。
All right. All right, so first, you can see German sausages. We call them Bratwürste, but there's many, many different kinds of Bratwürste. You hear the brrr, you have to do that in German. When you have an R, you have to make sure you trill the R. Okay, so next to the Bratwurst, we have sauerkraut. Sometimes, even at Costco, you can get sauerkraut with your hot dogs, but not now because of the pandemic. Meals of the day, German. So for breakfast we say Frühstück. Früh means early. So, and then Mittagessen is lunchtime. Mittag is midday or lunchtime. Essen is to eat. And Abendessen is eating or Abendbrot, evening bread. Okay? So a lot of similarities between German and English, but it doesn't mean if you speak English you can speak German. So, okay.
好，那你现在看到的就是德国最有名的食物什么？德国香肠，对不对？那我昨天问老师说，早餐会不会吃这个？他说基本上3餐都会吃哦。老师在德国住过10年。
And German sausages are really, really good. Okay, let's talk a little bit about school very quickly. German education system is pretty, I don't want to say strict, but it's challenging for a lot of students. Everybody has to go to school by the age of 6, and then when you get older, you can kind of decide maybe a little bit about your future and which direction you want to go.
德国的话，他们职业教育比较发达哈，很多人都会去就读高职，然后直接就业或者是半工半读，类似像这样。
Okay, you can see, I mentioned before, Germany is very centralized. It's in the middle of Europe, and there are some main rivers there, the Rhine, Elbe, and Danube. Danube is English. German we say Donau. And you can see a little bit of river there with a castle. Anybody have any idea how many castles there are in Germany? Anybody want to take a guess?
有没有人要猜猜看德国的城堡有多少座？
It doesn't mean that they're still in perfect condition or anything. There might be some ruins. Okay, very good. How many? 10?
非常多 ，many。
That's all. Over 10,000, right?
Oh, 10,000.
Over 10,000. Actually, when I was researching this, I saw 20,000 and 25,000, so lots and lots of castles.
事实上是有2万多座城堡。那你现在看到的，这是在莱茵河畔的城堡。
Now, the highest mountain in Germany is called the Zugspitze. It's at the southern part of Germany in the state of Bavaria. It's very close to Austria, Audili, and but it's not as high as some mountains in Taiwan. Some mountains in Taiwan are even higher than the Zugspitze. I think the Zugspitze is about 2,900 meters high.
好，这是德国最高的山，然后它是滑雪圣地，所以你现在看到这个就是他们搭乘缆车上去的图片哦。然后老师刚刚说它的高度比我们台湾最高的山矮一点点，是2000多公尺高。
Okay, you can see here there are some important cities in Germany. Munich that we saw in the video, and where I lived for a couple of years is in the southern part of Germany. You see just the border south of there is Austria, and then a little bit to the west is Switzerland. But Frankfurt is the main city in terms of finance for Germany, and Berlin is the capital, and Hamburg is actually a big port city. And you know, it's very interesting what we call people from certain cities. So a person living in Hamburg is a Hamburger, like a Hamburg, right? And a person living in Frankfurt is a Frankfurter, like a hot dog, okay?
好，老师刚刚说，就是这些是德国主要城市，最上面那个我们称之为汉堡。所以如果我们在后面加上 er 的话呢，就会念起来更像汉堡了，对不对？
Okay, so we can see there's a picture of Berlin here. Berlin actually, after World War II, was divided into 4 sections. It was divided into East Berlin, West Berlin, but then it was controlled by the U.S., England, France, and Russia. We can see here the wall that divided East Berlin and West Berlin. But West Berlin, even though it was free, was still in East Germany. And the wall came down in 1990, and then East and West Germany became unified again. Whether that was a good thing or not, many Germans at that time in the West were very upset because their tax dollars were paying for the East Germans who were actually quite poor.
哦，这是柏林什么4个字？柏林什么？答对了，柏林围墙，它是区隔东德与西德之间的一道枷锁哈，两边的人民不能互通哈。
I was in the U.S. Army, and the reason I ended up in Germany is because the Army sent me there. And this is where I lived and worked. A place called Merrill Barracks is in the city of Nuremberg, also a very well-known city in Germany. And you can see the front of the building. It still has a lot of holes in it from World War II. It used to be tied by the German Army.
好，这是老师在德国当兵的时候驻守的地方。那上面有很多的弹孔，是来自于第2次世界大战。
All right, let's talk a little bit about some of the important cities. Hamburg, I mentioned before, is a seaport in the northern part of Germany, and very nice city also. And a lot of people there actually speak some bit of English because Hamburg is not too far from England.
好，这是德国北方的海港城市汉堡。
And Munich, where I lived for a while, very nice city, like it quite a bit. As I mentioned, it's also close to the Alps, so it's easy drive to the mountains. You can go skiing there in the wintertime. It's good for cycling, mountain biking. In fact, I did the Alps crossing on a mountain bike before, starting just south of Munich, and we ended up in Italy. Went through Austria, Switzerland, and then Italy. So quite an adventure. I would recommend it to anybody if they want to explore the Alps on a mountain bike.
好，这是南边的城市慕尼黑，大家有听过什么节？没有听过。对，啤酒节就是在这个地方啊。
Frankfurt, as I mentioned before, sort of the capital of finance and the economy in Germany. It's also got a very large airport, so when you fly into Germany, you will usually go into Frankfurt. And there you can catch trains. The public transportation in Germany is quite good, like here in Taiwan.
好，这个是另外一个大城市，叫法兰克福，交通非常方便。
Now, Düsseldorf is an interesting city. It's on the Rhine River. It's also the home to many Japanese companies have their offices in Düsseldorf. Why they choose Düsseldorf, I have no idea. But there are many, many companies there and from Japan. Okay? Now we have a quick Q&A, right?
来，老师刚刚说了一个国家哦，刚刚那个城市有哪个国家的公司最多？
Okay, so my question is, which Asian country has many offices in Düsseldorf? Anybody know? Oh. That is correct. Very good.
来，掌声。
Very good. Good job. All right. This next city is Dresden. Dresden is used to be in East Germany, and it was pretty much destroyed by bombs in World War II. So it's been rebuilt, but it's got a lot of culture there, and it's quite a beautiful city. Okay.
好，这是在东边的一个城市，那二战的时候呢，几乎全毁的一个城市哈，重建。
All right, so a lot of different things to see in Germany. Just picked out 3 things that are pretty famous. We see on the left up there the it's called Brandenburger Tor. Tor means gate in German. And this is in Berlin, so it's a very famous structure in Berlin. A better shot of it right there. And yeah, it's quite impressive to say the least.
我昨天问老师说，这有点像法国的什么门？对，我也觉得很像凯旋门哦，在德国也有一个类似像这样子的，但比较小一点哦。
Okay, this is a very castle. You can see that long word up there. We say Neuschwanstein. Neuschwanstein Castle. Castle in German is Schloss. So we'd say Schloss Neuschwanstein. Neuschwanstein means new Swan Castle. And does this look familiar to any other place that you may have seen before?
有没有人看到跟这个类似的城堡呢？这叫新天鹅堡。
What does it look like? Does it look like any other place? Anybody think of it? like Sleeping Beauty's castle in Disneyland. That's where they got the design from. So when they designed and built the Sleeping Beauty castle in Disneyland, they took the idea from Neuschwanstein Castle.
好，它是迪士尼城堡的原型哈，叫新天鹅堡。
Okay, this is called fairy tale. Does everybody know what a fairy tale is? Do you guys know Snow White? Do you know Snow White?
白雪公主，大家知道吗？
Okay, so this is one of the fairy tales written by what we call the Brothers Grimm from Germany, and you can kind of follow a road where they used different places as the settings for their fairy tales.
好，大家不知道有没有看出来，左边有4种动物的那个故事，他们吓人的那个故事，什么故事？什么童话？对，格林童话就是来自于德国。你现在看到这张照片，就是他们的家的那条路，就是这条路。
Okay, now we're back to Germany, and we can see the 3 colors there again, representing the country, and so good. Anybody have any questions for me?
有没有人想要问问题呢？老师在德国住了10年哦。
I lived there for, I don't know, I'm going to guess about 10 years. So after my time in the Army, I liked it there, so I decided to stay. After I went back to the U.S., I went back to Germany, and yeah, I went to school there, learned the language, and yeah. And universities are free, even for foreigners.
老师的大学是在德国读的哦，而且他说那边大学是免费就读。
So if you're interested in German history or even European history, my recommendation is definitely if you have a chance to go to Europe, you can see, as I mentioned before, lots of castles. Some are in really good condition, some are in bad condition, but there's a lot to see there. And if you go in the winter time, make sure you take a coat. It gets cold there, and there'll probably be snow on the ground too. But the summers are very nice. Germany is pretty far to the north, and they also have what we call daylight savings. We don't have that here in Taiwan, but we have it in the U.S., where we set the clocks ahead, and sometimes in the summertime it won't get dark till about 9 or 9:30 at night, and then it never gets totally dark in the summertime, but in the wintertime it gets dark kind of early at 4:30, so there's a trade-off for that, but the summers there are actually quite nice, quite pleasant.
老师刚刚提到的是天气哈，夏天天气是不错的，冬天是很寒冷的。这种纬度高的国家呢，它的冬天有日光节约时间，他们的时钟会有所调整，以便于让他们可以就是怎么讲，地理课会上到，好不好？日光节约时间。就是他们的天黑的比较快啊，所以他们的时钟要重新做调整哦。这是老师刚刚说到的补充。好，那我们今天大概就讲到这边。好，来给老师掌声。
I have one last question. One last question. Our presentation was about which country? What is the name of the country?
大家一起说这是什么国？
Well, I want English. Or you can even say it in German. Say Deutschland. Deutschland is how you say Germany in German.
德国的另外一个名字叫德意志，德意志。
Okay. Any questions at all? Anybody have questions?
好，如果有问题的话，可以再去办公室问老师哦。哈。OK。
That's it.